Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Okay, here we go. More exploration. What exactly is at the heart of matter? The heart of matter. The heart of existence. The heart of appearance. What do we find when we look into the very essence, the deep heart, the heart of life as it is, prior to all the descriptions, psychological narrative, identifications, beliefs, memories, etc. We're surprised to find it's completely empty. Totally and completely empty. We find a poignant, tender, empty responsiveness, naked of a personal me, empty of a doer of deeds and a thinker of thoughts, an experiencer of experience, totally impersonal and absolutely intimate. Liberation without division of any kind. We find that beyond conventional conceptual description, there is only an ever-givingness, a compassionateness, an immediacy, a spontaneous, effortless presence, awakeness. It's beyond a state of mind or an emotion. It's a way rather than a state, a condition of being. There is a constancy, a quality of causeless love, rather than a conditioned, relational, give and take sort of love that is amidst and amongst, threaded through and as all experience and circumstance. An uncreated love that is the heart of vast, generous wholeness. Not someone who is awake, someone with a heart, someone who is enlightened. There is no someone with a particular position such as good or enlightened. There is only awakeness that is consciously awake to and as itself. Unconditioned, uncaused, unborn, love at the heart of being, pouring forth in this and every, always, as itself, for itself. It's funny, because when we look, there's that abyss. Oh, there's something else. And it made me think of this from the pointing out instructions of Padmasambhava in Juniper Ridge. Lady Shogol asked the master, "Does there exist an abyss into which one might fall?" And the master replied, "The root of falling is a thought that is your own. The place of falling is an abyss that is you. The fear of falling is your personal mind's suspicious thought." Sure, if I can, if I don't implode. Whoa. right out of the chair. Lady Shogo asked the master, "Does there exist any abyss into which one might fall?" And the master replied, "The root of falling is a thought that is your own. The place of falling is an abyss that is you. The fear," this is the key, "of falling is a personal mind's suspicious thought." So when we take a position, that's in response to that fear of falling. The abyss that is us. The abyss that is this. The abyss when you look into the heart of everything. The position is in response to that fear, that suspicious thought. Taking a position, it's okay. It's not a failure. It's nothing of the sort. It's just, that's what we've been doing, is positioning ourselves in response to that fear of, is there really nothing here? The position. But the thing is we've become so misidentified with these positions. These positions, any separate idea you want to throw out, all the positions. Me in relationship to that, this is my position, that's that position. You hear what I'm saying? It's not real. It's a made up response to something we're afraid of. So we take that position. But then we forget that we've even taken the position and we just think it's who we are. We just think it's who we are. It just becomes so commonplace and so part of the fabric of how that whole package of feeling, believing, thinking, and it's self-generating. It's self-generating. It generates itself. That isn't even like, I mean, maybe once in a while we'll get a glimmer of it, right? Like, why am I thinking that? Why am I believing that? Rarely do we, I mean, maybe not in this crowd. Maybe I shouldn't say that, but I think it's rare that there's a, who am I anyway? Who is there to take a position? What is this? Really? Really? But if we are in a position, that is it's impediment, it impedes, it stops, really covers the capacity for that kind of listening we were practicing yesterday. The cup of tea, open field listening. There's no way to experience that in a to directly be that from a position. There's just no way. If we're positioned, then that is the experience. And it's a package deal. So like, say we're positioned in defensiveness, or we're positioned in resistance, or we're positioned in whatever we are, then that's the package deal. It will behave as we believe it to be, that's what we'll see. So that's like the world then that we'll be living. And then we'll form all of this analysis and conceptualization and everything around that, and it, here we go again. One more trip around. It's okay. We're just looking at it. So from that position, there isn't the empty, open. These words are just so non-descriptive of the actuality, but it's just as close as we can get. The right here, right, immovable, unchangeable, unpositioned, unmanufactured, effortless, spontaneous, as is, has no position. So if we can meet that, it begins with like just we intend to meet it openly, okay? Like we were practicing yesterday, we're going to meet that, we're going to meet whatever this resistance, whatever this no, or I can't, right? Whatever it is. But we're going to meet it just as purely as we possibly can, without analysis and story and narration and description and categories. Okay? It starts like that. And the eventuality of that is the position begins to crumble because it's not being fed and believed. So it begins to crumble, and what is listeningness moves to the foreground, becomes prominent. And then that's the toe over the abyss. Then we're right on the edge of falling into what we are actually, what we actually are. When that listeningness takes front and center stage, even as the play is happening, and there's nobody there to position themselves in relationship to it, it's just a simple, naked, uncovered awakeness. Simple. Don't go anywhere. And listeningness, that which is, as it is, which is real, not constructed, but real, is it's front and center. The context becomes apparent. And the appearance almost seems like a dream, like something we deeply cared about, but you can't figure out why. And then that is just, here it comes. The ground, the source of all. Cause, without cause, uncreated, unconditioned, mysterious, ineffable, free fall. So then what does the doing become? Well, the doing becomes, it's never been anything I don't think anybody's resonated with, and I'm looking for other words, but responsive immediacy, next obvious thing, like there's a plate of food, and so here comes hunger. You're sitting in the driver's seat of the car, so by golly, there's a key. You're having a baby, time to push. To everything, there is a time and a season and a purpose under heaven. But it's so covered with these positions and misidentifications and reasons. Oh my God. Just as they used, did your family, I don't know, I think, is this particular to my family? We used to say up the yin yang. I don't even know what that means, but reasons up the yin yang. Don't know, maybe that's gross. I'm not sure, but comes to mind. A multitude, an endless multitude of reasons. Oh my God. It just is never ending, is it not? A reason why. A reason for this. Well, I did this because that was this, and da-da-da. This is this, and that's this, and this is the other. And woo, okay, I got it squared away. I feel good. For about what? 20 minutes? If you're lucky, maybe a week. Oh. Yeah, that's how it goes. To avoid at all costs the abyss that is you. The heart that is empty of someone giving love. I mean, there's nothing wrong. There's, it's what I think it's Adyashanti who said, a healthy ego structure is a pleasant one to be around. It's true. You'd rather be a giving ego, an ego that's into selfless service and all of that, than the traditional good person, than you know. But honestly, at any level of consciousness, there is the opportunity and the potential to wake up. And many people who have been imprisoned for really deep things, like torturous, homicidal maniacs, wake up. They're maybe not as pleasant to be around as the church ladies, but just saying. That too is just a construct. Better, worse, right, wrong. I think it's in the Tao Te Ching, Lao Tzu, that, I'm going to paraphrase, I can't quote it totally, but if humanity would root itself in the subtle origin, all things would become harmonious. In other words, if we identified, strangely, there will be nobody there to identify as source, but root ourselves into the subtle origin as the subtle origin. So as we were practicing yesterday, something comes in, we feel the resistance, and the resistance is a package deal. It has memories and reasons and beliefs and identifications and the whole thing, emotions that like really give it juice, the whole thing. And if we can okay, so here's this thing we think we are. Here's that package deal. And in between is this mediator called the separate self. But if we can close that gap through recognizing what is here, remembering who we are beyond the separate self, then reality takes care of itself. It might look funky in a human life. I'm not just like Snow White skipping through the woods, but like, I mean, it might mean uprooting your life or, the spin cycle for 3 years or, I mean, I don't know. Or it might just be like a cool breeze coming in through an open window. It runs the gamut with people. I mean, there's awake people who have completely remembered their true nature, who have just always been awake to it, so it's not like a thing to them. But those of us who have been attending to the separate self, well, there's an unfolding. And what feels like a dissolution, and as that gap resolves. And then be as is just the way, the wayless way. It's not a thing we're practicing. It's the abyss that is us. It's the liberated, whole, unidentified, empty heart of being. Impersonal, totally, absolutely intimate. And then, you can see these days the real mix-up, like with the when people are taking the words and applying them as spiritual concepts rather than realizing them within themselves. So it's like, oh, intimacy with 10,000 things. Okay. I mean, whatever your thing is, go for it. But in a human, when the infinite itself is intimate with the 10,000 things, the whole of reality, that doesn't translate to, I must be nice and sexually active with every person I meet, or whatever it is. I mean, it just doesn't translate. You see it. You see it happening. I mean, you're laughing, but you see this happening. You know? Because there's nobody there reasoning all of that, applying it, and then doing it in the way that the conceptual mind thinks it should be done. It's just a vast, just totally different landscape. A totally different landscape where one is applying spiritual principles and life beyond self-consciousness. Those two do not look the same or behave the same. Not that one's bad. Not what I'm saying. It's just not what I'm speaking of. I'm trying to be clear. So there's an experience. Something that came into being, and we could go round and round and round about it, and different creation stories have different ideas about it. So we don't, it's just kind of a fun thing to think about, I guess, or play with. But in some way or another, self-reflection, where the senses go out and then consciousness bends back upon itself and begins talking to itself about the experience, that somehow came into being. And at some point, it became misidentified. I mean, I don't know a lot of the other creation stories, and I'm not trying to push any dogma. I'm just talking about direct experience and that which speaks to that direct experience. But, there's the book 1 of Genesis, let there be light. It's pure, it's unadulterated, it's the Garden of Eden. And there's book 2, self-consciousness arises. Who told you you were naked? Who's talking to you? Self-consciousness. Self-consciousness is talking and bringing in shame and unworthiness and not good enoughness and separateness. I was in the garden, and now I apparently like, naked and afraid. And that nature's over there, and I'm over here. It came in somehow. And we've been attending to it and believing it for all these years, these eons. And people wake up in each generation and each time frame and say, that's not true. And somehow or another, we just can't quite get there. But this is the time to get there and realize what is the coming and goingness, the changingness, the play, the display, as Adya says, now appearing as, and what is real, actual. And it's also the time where many of us are beginning to live beyond self, without a self, it thins out, that bending back. It's like a cervix dilating for birth. It thins and thins and thins and thins and thins and becomes less and less and less, and then one day, not there. Or it happens like, But what I'm seeing more of is the thinning out. Less and less and less and less self-consciousness, less and less and less and less self-referencing, less and less and less self-identification. For some, it just happens for some reason as you go into Warrior One in a yoga class and your head blows off and you can't find a reference for anything and you have no idea who you are. But that isn't, that's just one story, and it's more often, I think, at this point. And many of the people who have never left the garden, the indigenous people, are making themselves known and coming back to say, oh, thank God, little brother, come on back. So there is no division between the mysterious, the great mystery, the great creator, whatever, and this that is free falling as that. So we get skilled and practiced at becoming very precise in noticing and inhabiting these moments of positionality, stress, resistance, whatever you want to call that sense of when separateness begins to build. There's capacity and space for the, and it's not through detachment and transcendence. I mean, it can be, but that's not what I'm talking about. It's hard, it's in the heart of it all, in the cauldron. I think that, maybe, I don't know. I really don't know this. But it seems that maybe, if I was Dr. Hawkins, I'd muscle test it right now. If he had a fresh thought, he was not going to put it out there until he was like, well, I don't know, I think I lost it. Oh, I think, there was a time and a place for transcendence. The very transcendent awakeness. But it seems to me that this is not that time. This is the time of liberated wholeheartedness. Liberated wholeheartedness. Whatever's in front of you, love that. You don't have to like it. You don't have to prefer it. You can pick yourself up like the Columbine and say, like Dr. Hawkins said, you get very, very, very skilled at no thank you as you transcend the levels of consciousness. No thank you. It's necessary. That's necessary as you transcend the levels of consciousness and dissolve the self. It's necessary. And I think everyone has heard me say this, but it brings Dr. Hawkins to mind. But he always compared it, that discernment, that wise, initiated, wizened discernment with the people who drive through Yellowstone thinking they're going to play with the grizzly bears. because they can't see the grizzly bears as grizzly bears, because they don't have the capacity to just love the grizzly bears as a grizzly bear. They want the grizzly bear to be a cartoon. And so they get out of the car to interact with the cartoon that's in their head, the misreality, the misperception that's in their head of what a grizzly bear is. Stay in the car. It's a grizzly bear. We love the grizzly bears, but they are grizzly bears. And they're divine in their grizzly bearness. And it's actually such mental hubris to make them into what we think they should be. It's just incredible what we do. It's incredible what we do. Anthropomorphizing everything. Giving the silence of nature that is hopefully impressing upon the separate self. No, the separate self has to anthropomorphize the silence of nature. So, the trees have mental processes like we do. That tree's feelings are hurt, or, oh boy. We're very arrogant. And we do the same thing to people that we encounter. Aja always used to describe it as, hi, how are you? What can you do for me? How can I look at you so you make me feel better? We do this in fear of the abyss. Get in that position going. It's innocent. Oh, please hear it. It's innocent. It's like the innocence of human development. Like, we don't expect a 2-year-old to have the same cognitive abilities and developmental skills as somebody who's 14. We don't expect that. We don't look at the 2-year-old and be like, why aren't you acting like, you whatever. Try to put that upon it. It's innocent. It's an innocent reaction to self-consciousness, the idea of a separate self, and the fear of this abyss that is us, this emptiness of personal selfhood. It's just an innocent, like, heroic almost, really. But you know how, like, maybe if you haven't had this exact experience, you can imagine it. Your kid wakes up in the middle of the night and comes to the side of your bed, and like, Mom, I had a bad dream. And they have no idea that it's not real. They have no idea that it's not real. To them, it's as real as anything else. And it's like, okay, sweetheart, come on up. Come on in. Let's go look under your bed. Turn on the light. We're gentle about it, right? Understanding. When we're in these positions, we suffer life rather than understand it. We can't understand it from these positions. We're playing with the grizzly bears because of the false conception, the false notion. There's no understanding at all in our positions. There's just a package deal of this position has these apparent realities to it. I mean, we all know this. We all know it. Same as it ever was. Same as it ever was. Same as it ever was. Can't fix the problem at the level it was created and all of that. But we just have this deep conditioned, habitual way of attending and just kind of knee-jerking into it. So when we come to a retreat like this, we have the great opportunity, the great grace to investigate that and decide for ourselves if that's how we want to see the world. I mean, there's nothing stopping us from seeing it any way we want to see it. There's no great judge deciding. And there's no timeline, no racetrack to, no competitive enlightenment school. There's this. And there is a way to meet and encounter and be amongst and amidst all of the arising as a effortless presence. It's an effortless presence where you're just almost like bathing, illuminating, inhabiting the appearance as effortless presence, but there's no like backflow, there's no hit of like, and now I am a bodhisattva. There's no paybacks like that. It's a naturalness. The sun shines, that's what it does. Without reward, without anything like that. It's just the essence is shining. Water is wet, the essence is wet. It doesn't bestow it. It is that. It is that. We are that. The awakeness is the light. So we can't go to, or we can. Maybe we'll do something different, but we don't have to go to war with the positions now. And with the positions that have been put in place between empty-heartedness and the abyss, we can go to war with them like, oh, now I really see myself taking positions. You know how we are. She said we were taking positions, and now I see that I'm taking a position. And now I will take a position against a position. Okay. Like Papaji said, go upstream. So the positioning is rolling down the hill, gathering itself, getting progressively more and more positioned in itself. What sees it? Pretty soon, the experience is most definitely the world moving through whatever this is, not the other way around. I'm not going anywhere, ever. Find that. as many times as it takes. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's simple. It's simple. It's simple. And it comes to bear upon all of the content. And when there's nobody there, just open field, listening, Rumi, I'll meet you in the field beyond right doing and wrong doing. Then that content begins to simmer down and get less vivid as the context the shining, the sun itself, the awakeness. Let there be light. And it quite naturally, without anybody helping, permeates, illuminates, and wakes up itself. So I think in the guided meditation, we'll do a little bit more practice, a little bit more practicing, so that we can have the amperage, the voltage of our togetherness, our one heart, and play a little bit. Okay, thank you.